So today we'll talk about abstract class. Abstract class. So what is abstract class? It is a class. First of all, it is a class. As a class is following all the OOPS concept, abstract class also follows the OOPS concept. Second, we cannot create the object of the abstract class. Okay, we cannot create the object. And it has the abstract data members and abstract methods. If we cannot create the object of this abstract class, then what is the use? It is used in the child classes. So let us see. So if you want to create a class, public abstract class, okay, public abstract, and then class name, say my class. So to create, one second. So this is within class I have created. So let me create a separate class here. Right click, add, we call it my class. We call it public abstract class. Now, this public abstract class, let me have this comment from here to there. So it is a class. So just consider at this moment it is a normal class. But in a normal class, we do have the methods and the members. So here also we can have the method. So for example, I want to have a public void print method, which is saying that console.writeLine, this is the print method. So if I build my project, so you see build progress, there is no error. So let me put a word abstract here. Now let me build the project. It is failed. It is saying print cannot declare a body because it is marked as abstract. So an abstract class can have the abstract method, and when we define the abstract method, we should not have the definition of the abstract method in the abstract class. Means we are just giving a blueprint to the child class by saying that we have a print method, okay, and you need to implement it. So the child, it's a responsibility of the child class to implement it. So let's create a child class. So I'll say public class and say child class, which is getting inherited from the my class. Okay, so let us build it. Now here you see the error which is related to print method definition, that is gone, because now we are not defining the property, we are not defining the method print. But now it is giving the error here. It is saying the child class does not implement inherited abstract data member. So what it means, if you have a data member here, or data member or method, data method, that must be implemented in the child class. So this is mandatory. So what I need to do here, I need to implement it. So if you see here, there is a small smart navigation come which says implement the abstract class from the my class. So it will write this public override print, and here I said some exception it is writing, but I'm not going to write exception. I'm saying console.write child is implementing abstract method of base class, base abstract class. Now let me build one more time. Now there is no error. So now this print method is in the child class. So let us go back to our main, and here I will create an object of child class. Child class, say C equals to. So let me create the object of abstract class first. My abstract class is my class. M1 equals to new my class. So let us see whether it produces any error or not. So you see it is giving it the error. The error is saying cannot create the instance of the abstract class. So this is not possible. So abstract class, we cannot create the object of that. Now how to implement it? So we can use the child class. Child class C equals to new child class. So this is possible because child class is not a abstract class. If I say C dot print, and if I run the application, so it gives the implementation that child class is implementing abstract class of the abstract method of the base abstract class. So this is the one way, and we cannot create the object of a abstract class, but we can do one more thing here. We can give a reference to the abstract class. How? I can write my class. My class is a base class of the child class, so we can write it new child class. So in this case, what I am doing, I am saying my class, which is abstract class. I am not creating the object basically. I am just giving a reference to the new child class. So because child class is the child of my class, so we can give the reference. So here what I'm giving, reference to the child class. So my class is referred to the child class. So if I run it, it's the same output. Okay, as I said that this is the abstract method, but you can have the concrete method as well, which is non-abstract method. So if I say public void, say concrete method, console.writeLine. This is the this is the concrete method. Now, with the normal inheritance point of view, we can directly use it here with C dot concrete method. If I run it, it is giving the output. This is a concrete method. So normal inheritance, it will not impact anything. But yes, when you are having a abstract method, then in that case, you will have to override. So I use the word override here. So you need to override that method into the child class. Okay. So interfaces. So next topic is interface. So what is interfaces? Interfaces is like class, but it has only the abstract method or properties. So it has the abstract methods or the properties. And means abstract methods means it does not have the definition in the base class. So interface is just like that. The other use of interface is that we can achieve the multiple inheritance. So if you remember, in the multiple inheritance on the class level is not possible in the C# or .NET. But when we talk about interface, that is possible. So let us see. I have an interface. So to write an interface, you just write interface and interface name. So most of the time if we see the inbuilt interfaces, these are started with the capital I. So capital I, wherever we see, it basically indicates the interface. So that is a naming convention. So, but it is up to you, whatever you want to use. But it is suggestible that you have to use I in front of your interface name, which basically by seeing first time or seeing in a one glance, you can say that it is a interface. So I'm creating interface my class or my interface, I will say. Okay. Now it has wired print method. Okay. Now let me have a class. Interfaces are also used for the child classes purpose. So let me have a class here. Which is getting inherited from the I my interface. From here, let me remove this old code and let's build the project. So see, it will fail. It is saying the child class does not implement the interface. So we need to implement it. Again, the same way, you just put it here, cursor here, or press Control period and implement interface. So now you can see that this print method is implemented. So I just write my own definition. So I'll say console.write. This is the print method from print method implementation for the interface. Now if I go back to my main and I will say child class C1 equals to new child class C1 dot print method. So now it will print the value. So it is very much similar to the abstract class where we were having the print method which is having the just declaration in the abstract method, and same way we are doing in the my interface. So what is the difference? So few things you have noticed that I did not put a abstract method in the interface because by default all these are the abstract method. And in the child class also I did not put the override. So that is also not required. So you just need to put the definition into the child class. Abstract class is a class, but interface is not a class. Abstract method, abstract class or abstract classes can have the concrete methods. Means we have taken two methods, one is the abstract method and one is the non-abstract method. But in interface, you cannot have the concrete method. You are only having the abstract methods. So this void print is the abstract method. You cannot create a method which has the definition. So if you see, if I'm going to create a void new print method, and if I try to write something here, so this will definitely throw the error. Okay, so what it is saying, my print cannot have a definition. So we cannot have a definition for that. So you cannot have the concrete method. So this is the another thing which differentiate interface from the abstract class. Now, the other thing which is with respect to inheritance again, that multiple inheritance can be possible through the interface but not with the classes. So let me take one more interface here. And one more thing you may have noticed here that I did not put a public or private. So by default it is public and no need to mention the public over here. Now let me have one more interface. Say I new interface, and I'm having a void new print method. So here I have the class. So far there should not be any error. So if you see, build succeeded. So now I'm going to apply multiple inheritance. So to apply multiple inheritance, you need to put a comma and then the interface name. So now this child class is getting inherited from my interface class and I new interface class, not class, interface. So if you inherit a class from the interface or the abstract class, then it is mandatory that you need to implement its abstract members. So here we have implemented the abstract member of my interface, but we need to implement the new print method as well. So now if I go over here and say console.writeLine, this is new print method from I new interface. And if I go back to my calling routine, I can use IC1 dot new print method as well. So if I run it, so you can see print method implementation. And so mean to say here my child class is getting inherited from multiple interfaces, which is nothing but we call it multiple inheritance. There are a lot of interfaces is inbuilt. If I show you, if you see all these interfaces, I clonable, I collection, I comparable, these all the interfaces. So if I go, if you see it is started with the I, it means it is an interface. If you move your cursor over there, it tells that interface system dot iClonable. So if I go there and go to the definition, okay, so this is the interface which is inbuilt. So this is the interface which has a method which is called clone, and it is returning some object value. So if you compare this with this interface, it is almost same. Here we have interface my interface, and here if you see public we can put if we are using the different namespace. Public interface iClonable, right? Then it has object clone method, and in our case void print method. So this is the way that we can write the interfaces or the abstract classes. Okay, there are two special type of enumerable types which we called IEnumerable and IEnumerator. So these two are also we can cover in the interfaces chapter. So there are, so let me remove this as we have already done this. Okay. Now, say an example, I have an array. So I say int my array equals to, I'm giving some values, say 10, 20, 30, 40. So I'm having one array. Now if I want to print these values, what I will do that for each int I in my array, and I will print their values. I want to print I. So I use the for each loop. It will traverse to each element and print its values. So if I see the output will be 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. So the array type which we have constructed here, right? It is using the for each loop. So it looks very meaningful. That means I'm traversing each and every element with the for each loop. But what is the truth behind it? The truth is that this array supports one method which is called getEnumerator. So it supports one method which is getEnumerator, which is actually evaluated by the for each loop. So this array is implementing that getEnumerator method of a class or an interface. So we have interface which is called the IEnumerators and IEnumerables. So IEnumerable is an interface which has a method called getEnumerator, and this getEnumerator method is used or evaluated in the for each loop. So let me show you with an example. Say an example, I have a car class. So this is my method is getting over here. So let me have a class, say car, and this car class is having name. So I'll say public string name and say public int year old. Something I'm just writing. Okay. Now what I will do, I will create one more class. Class is garage. Now this garage is having lot of cars inside it, or can have one or many cars. So what I'm going to do here, I will create one private car and car array equals to new car. So we can store say 4 car details inside it. So garage is a class which is having a collection of car objects. Now in its constructor, I'm just creating car array 0 equals to, we can initialize here as well, new car, and we can pass say Rusty and 30. Same way I can create another so it's a clunker, say 55, and we will have zippy 30, and we have Fred. Why it is giving error? Because we don't have the constructor with the parameter. So we'll create a constructor here which takes 2 parameter. So I will put string name and int old. I will say name equals to name and years old equals to. Okay. Now I will go to my main method. In the main method, what I'm trying to just use, I want to see all the cars details. Okay. So I will create the object of garage. See, we say car lot equals to new garage. So as soon as I create the object, it will call its constructor, and within constructor I am initializing 0. This should be 1, this should be 2, and this should be 3. So it is initializing the car. Now if I put a for each loop here, for each, let's say car C in car lot. Okay, and if I say console.writeLine C dot something name. Okay, so you see it is giving a compile time error. So the compiler tells what is the error. For each statement cannot operate the variables of type garage because it does not contain the definition of the get enumerator. So this indicates that if you have a get enumerator, then you can use the for each loop. So mean to say here that this my garage class does not have this, so I need to implement it. So get enumerator method, we can get it from the IEnumerable, and IEnumerable is available in the system.collection. Now it's an interface. Again, we need to implement it. So I'm just putting implement IEnumerable interface. So this IEnumerable interface is having a method get enumerator. So if I go to definition of IEnumerator, so you can see it has only one method, which is the get enumerator. So and it is returning IEnumerator. So what is IEnumerator? It's again an interface. If I go to its definition, it has current, move next, and reset. So these are the methods. So IEnumerator is basically what it does. It's a interface which allows the caller to obtain the container sub-items. Container sub-items means garage is having cars, right? So move next. Move next, if you see, it's a Boolean type. So what it does, it, for example, you are for each loop, you are on the first item, then you want to move to the next item. So move next basically advance the internal position of the cursor. Current, object current. So this will tell you the current, get the current item, which is a read-only property. Okay, and reset the cursor before the first member. So these are the methods which are defined under the IEnumerator, and IEnumerable is using the get enumerator method. And now in our class we are having get enumerator method. That is because we have implemented IEnumerable. So to use the for each loop, you should have the get enumerator method. So in this get enumerator method, what I'm trying to do here, I will return car array dot get enumerator. Okay, so let us see whether it is still giving the issue. No, it is not giving any error. Now let us see whether we can retrieve the name of all the cars. Yes, we are able to retrieve the name of all the cars. So the real use of means if you want to make your class to use the for each loop for its sub items, then what you need to do, you need to implement the IEnumerable interface. This my array class or the array class, these all are implementing the IEnumerable interface. So let us see array. So if I go there and go to the definition, so here you can see this is a array class, which is an abstract class, right, which is inherited from the IEnumerable. So definitely then it will have the get enumerator method, which is helping us for the for each loop.